Well, here, look, I found Cole Hastings, and he's brought a table full of magnificent 3D printed items. Hi, Cole. Can you tell us about these?
Yes, I can. So we have all sorts of different items. We have 3D printed candle holders that have been turned into concrete. We have bow ties that are all 3D printed and clip onto the top button of your shirt, all the way through to mom signs for those wonderful moms everywhere. They are where our homes are. We have business card holders, and we have one of my lamps that I just recently designed for my MFA thesis work.
Wow. Well, let's start on this side, because this is where you started. You said you had candle holders that are made of concrete. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what I did was I modeled the original candle holder in Cinema 4D. Went through all the slicing software, 3D printed it, and what I did was then I took that model and I made a silicone rubber mold of it. And from the silicone rubber mold, I was able to cast them into cement or concrete, whichever term you prefer.
We'll call it cement concrete or concrete cement or whatever.
Concrete.
That's the best way to say it. I really like your bow ties. What was the inspiration for making 3D printed bow ties?
A couple years ago, I got married, and I wore a bow tie at my wedding.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Wonderful wife. She puts up with me all the time.
Just to kind of break the fourth wall here, your wonderful wife is running the camera. Do you want to give a shout out?
Yeah, my wonderful wife, Rachel. She is the love of my life, and I say she's my better three-quarters.
Oh, you're sweet.
I try. So I fell in love with the idea of wearing a bow tie, but being a 3D printer person, I was like, I can make this better through 3D printing. So I worked on generating 3 different designs for a bow tie and creating a clip on the back that could just be epoxied on. And that clip allows you to just put it on the top button of your shirt rather than going through the whole process of tying a bow tie.
Which I've heard is hard. I don't wear any bow ties. I've always wanted to, but what if I don't have a top button? What if I'm wearing a t-shirt?
I would be happy to make one for you that could just clip onto the top of your t-shirt.
Okay, I guess that'll be in the next video, right? Yeah. As far as the rest of the things on this table, your designs are crazy. They look awesome. And you said you use Cinema 4D. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, what Cinema 4D does over like a process like AutoCAD is it allows me to make 3-dimensional objects more like how a ceramicist would work with clay. I'm able to mold objects and mix polygons and primitives together in a more fun and intuitive way than normal CAD software allows. And it allows me to worry about more of the outer mesh of an object than what the internal structures will be. That internal structure stuff comes in with the slicing software.
Yeah, that's true, and that makes sense though. You're worrying about the exterior of the product because that's what's going to be shown, right?
Yes, exactly. And what I like about Cinema 4D is that sometimes if I don't like the exact tolerance of an object, I can manipulate it in a lot of different ways without having to go through and redesign a whole part over that. So like if the tolerance of a lamp piece is a little bit different once I print it, I can then go back and change it, working off the polygons and the vertices and points rather than worrying about from an engineering point of view changing it in CAD software.
Oh, okay. So from what I know of Cinema 4D, it's not built for making objects for 3D printing. You have scale to worry about, and it's built more for special effects and motion graphics. How hard was it to take a Cinema 4D object and then export it somehow so you could slice it?
Well, you can export straight to STL files from Cinema 4D, and that's what I primarily do. For me, I don't think it was that difficult because I orient my objects from the very get-go using realistic numbers. Like, so the build space of my printer, like the Ultimaker 2 Extended Plus, I build a cube that you can see through right off the bat in that, and then I can work inside that virtual space, and I know that things will come out proportional to what I'm looking for. Not to mention, it's got a great little module on the bottom that tells you what your real-world sizes are, and I work in inches most of the time.
Inches, but you're a 3D printer. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to stick with that answer?
I work with inches, and then I always have my phone on me that has a little converter. I have a crafts background, traditional furniture making, so I'm still very much in that world of like working in inches, and I've always been someone who's worked with the decimal version of inches, not fractions. So I'm working with 0.125 for an eighth rather than trying to think about what an eighth would be. So I'm working right off those numbers from the get-go.
Okay. That probably makes it easier. Well, I've been here with Cole Hastings. Cole, thank you very much. It's traditional. Now we high five. That was awesome.